distinguished professors and all participants. My name is VELINA Stoyanova and I am a second-year student at Sofia University. It is a great pleasure for me to be with you today on this conference. I sincerely hope that you find my presentation interesting and thought-provoking. This past month I have conducted a humble research on the topic of piracy in the ancient world, and to be more exact, the relationship between Rome and pirates during the Republic. I was drawn to the subject mainly due to two reasons. The first is that, in my opinion, the vision and understanding of piracy we have today were formed more than 2,000 years ago. Why is that, you may ask? Well, in 1982, the United Nations adopted a convention on the law of the sea, and from Article 100 to 105 we are given a definition of piracy and the countermeasures against it. In Article 100, however, it is stated that all states shall cooperate to the fullest possible extent in the repression of piracy on the high seas or in any other place outside the jurisdiction of any state. The wise politician and skillful orator Cicero wrote the same exact statement concerning pirates. In his work De Officiis, we read the following: Pirata non est ex perduelium numero definitus, sed communis hostis omnium. The Convention on the Law of the Sea is not the first legal act that took action against pirates on an international level. It is worth noting that in the year 100 BC, the Lex de Provinciis Praetoris was adopted. Similar to the convention, this law wanted to ensure navigational safety to Romans, Latins, and Roman allies in the Mediterranean Sea. It also made provisions for the senior consul to send letters to the rulers in the area with a request not to give asylum for pirates and to make it impossible for them to establish bases on their territories, all in the name of common safety. By the time Rome began to gain significant influence, piracy was an inseparable part of life in the Mediterranean world. In the beginning, attacks from pirates were dismissed, as most of them targeted the opulent Greek colonies. However, as Rome began to expand, the clash with pirates became inevitable. Since the 2nd century BC, Romans increased their presence in the sea. They needed to ensure free trade in the Mediterranean so that the state can have easy access to the markets for food, slaves, papyrus, building materials, and others. As long as piracy helped with the procurement of these necessities, Rome would not take any action against it, but rather engage in economic relations with pirates. But when worry around the mobility of Italian traders arose, Rome took swift action to suppress piracy. Our modern provisions sound strikingly familiar to the passages written 2,000 years ago. And in my article I have made an attempt to seek the roots of the image of piracy and how it developed in Roman politics. In my opinion, we have accepted the Roman image of piracy and defined in the same way our fight against it. Well, maybe not exactly the same, because today violent attacks against aircrafts are also considered acts of piracy. My second point of interest was examining how piracy affected the development of authoritarian power. Pirates were responsible for creating a big political and economic crisis in Rome. As time passed, their attacks on Roman territory became more vicious, despite Rome's military campaigns. The commanders who led these campaigns were gradually given more and more power up until 67 BC, when events culminated. In a republic, one man was given the ultimate power. I am talking about the Lex Gabinia de uno imperatore contra predonis constituendo, and the imperium it granted Pompey the Great. Pompey was given the ultimate power regarding military actions against pirates. He was in charge for an extended period of time of a big army, many ships, on a vast territory. The Lex Gabinia gave him Imperium Proconsule, which, combined with an Imperium Maius over 25 legati and all the other provisions, ensured Pompey autonomy from the Senate. It is safe to assume that during the time the campaign against pirates lasted, Pompey held in his hands the Maior Potestas. In my views, Pompey's imperium exceeded the boundaries set by republican magistrates and was the first step to a new way of politics. The way Lex Gabinia accumulated so many powers in itself would become a model when combining Imperium Proconsule, Tribunica Potestas, Auctoritas Principis, and so on, or in other words, when creating the emperor's figure. What was done in 67 BC completely contradicted the republican procedure of granting an imperium, being the first instance of omitting the Senate in favor of a people's assembly. In modern times, this case does not sound so foreign. Even in today's democracies, a big enough threat can make people seek strong leadership figures. When faced by a crisis, people in democratic societies are likely to adopt the idea of a leader. It is not impossible that a society threatened by pirates would grant one sole figure emergency powers to deal with the problem. As we see in historical events, the bigger the threat and fear, the more power is voluntarily given. Despite existing laws, a way around them will be found, and they will be changed, as it happened with the case of the Lex Gabinia. Thank you all for your attention, and I hope that next year we will see each other in person. Stay safe.